Hello and welcome to Career Center. I'm Kimberly White, Executive Director of the Community Career Center. If you're unemployed, underemployed, or seeking a career change, this show is for you. Career Center will bring human resource professionals and other experts together to provide job search tips to assist you as you search for your next success. Today we have with us Vicki Austin. Vicki, founder of Choices Worldwide, helps individuals in career transition. She is a woman on a mission. I love her mission statement, by the way, to create a world where people love what they do and do what they love. Vicki, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so happy to be here.
Great, thank you. I would love for you to just elaborate a little bit on your mission statement. How did you come to that? Where did that come from? I love that.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I think it resonates with a lot of people. I came to that mission because I had a job that I didn't love. And I learned painfully that that is not the best way to live a life. So after separating from that job, actually being separated from that job, I actually went to the Community Career Center. And I was the proud and joyful recipient of Joy Dooley's counsel and the group at large, and I ultimately landed at a job that I did love, and Joy asked me to come back and speak to the group. And I did that after I had been in my job a while. I took a day off, I came back, and I delivered a presentation called The 10 Commandments of Loving Your Job. And I confided in a gentleman there who was a volunteer, Bill Kernan, that someday I would love to coach people on career change. And I meant, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years down the pike. But that night I got a phone call. He had referred me my first client. And that's when I started coaching people on career transition. I'd been in healthcare marketing for many, many years. And I simply applied the principles of marketing to the principles of a job search, which really is what a job search is. It's marketing oneself in the marketplace. There are some very simple principles, but they're not always easy to apply. So I saw that I could help people by helping them see how to market themselves, and then ultimately create a marketing plan for themselves. And that spun off into a business, and I am proud to say I've been doing it now full-time for 12 years.
Wow. So you mentioned principles of the job search. Can you share a couple of those?
Sure. The first principle is that I think any time is a great job to be looking for, any time is a great time to be looking for a job. Back in the day, people used to come to me and say, well, it's a really bad time to be looking for a job. Unemployment is 4%. And of course,
4%.
Yeah, right. We would kill for that now, right? Those are the days.
Yeah.
So I really believe that any time is a good time to look for a job if you're looking for a job, if you're looking to make a change. So that's the first thing, is allowing yourself to want what you want, and really to match your gifts and abilities to the marketplace. The first step is really doing that fearless inventory of what are your gifts and abilities, and then ultimately doing research on the marketplace. The third step is to put those two things together. What do I love? What am I really good at? What does the marketplace need? And where do those two fit?
And then you also talked about the commandments. So when you did the workshop on the commandments, would you mind sharing a few of those?
Sure. Well, the first is, I think we have both a responsibility and a right to love what we do, to apply our gifts and abilities in a way that makes a difference in the world. I've been doing this now, as I said, 12 years full-time, and I did it part-time for 5 years. So for 17 years, I've interviewed prospective clients and worked with clients. And the one thing I hear over and over again, Kimberly, is I want to make a difference. So but many people stop themselves. They're like, I want to make a difference, but they feel it's not practical. Maybe they're wanting to express themselves in a way like in the arts or in a job that they think is too big for them. So the first thing that I do is, the commandment is you can want what you want, and I help them identify what that is. Another commandment would be creating a plan to get there. I fell in love with strategic planning back in the early 80s when I was first working in a hospital out in Scottsdale, Arizona. And that's why I stumbled on this way of helping people, first helping myself and then helping others, by creating a strategic marketing plan to get from where you are to where you want to be. It's really just like strategic planning in a corporate environment.
Right. So what can a client that comes to you, what does a plan look like for them in terms of from start to finish going through your program?
Well, the first thing is I help them do an assessment of where they are. So doing a kind of an overview of where are they and what are the resources available to them. Most people, I find, wildly underestimate the resources that they have right at their fingertips. And the most important resource, and this is the one that invariably people underestimate and overlook, is the network that they already have. When people think of networking, I think 9 out of 10 people misunderstand what networking is. I believe that networking, really powerful networking, is first identifying and then evaluating the network that we already have. And our networks are typically much broader and much deeper than most people give themselves credit for. So I help them assess where they are. The second step is really to do visioning, and that sometimes takes great courage to be able to say, this is where I see myself in 3 to 5 years. It's much like financial planning. I work with a lot of financial planners, and the process is very much the same, projecting yourself out into the future and saying, where would I like to be? Where do I see myself in? I typically only go 3 to 5 years. Financial planners go 20, 30. But 3 to 5 years, and then the plan is actually writing and documenting how they're going to get from where they are to where they want to be. And strategic planning, at least the model that I use, is very simple. A goal, which is make a difference with others. Objectives, which are specific and measurable, get a job or generate a particular amount of income, or for a company, a particular amount of revenue. Strategies, which answer the question, how will you get there? And then the tactics. What I find is that most people are stuck in tactic land, what I like to call tactic land. They're busy, they're doing things, they've got lots of lists, and they're in action, but they aren't necessarily getting any traction. And that's why having a strategic plan is so powerful, because it's tied to a strategy. All of those tactics are tied to strategies, which in turn support the objectives, which in turn support the goal.
Right. That is really good to hear. So you're located in Wheaton. Your office is in Wheaton.
I have an office in Wheaton, and I also have offices where I see clients in the city, in Chicago, and one in Phoenix.
Okay. All right, great.
I'm opening my Paris office any day now.
Paris, I'll be there.
I'm working on it.
Vicki, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Vicki Austin again with Choices Worldwide. I really appreciate you being part of our group today.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you. And up next, Joy McGuire-Dooley will talk Job Club and the art of networking.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read.
So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child.
So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time.
One book can be the first little thing that helps to change a life. Book people unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Today, more than ever before, women are on the front lines of America's defense. These brave women struggle and sacrifice to help keep our country secure. They deserve to be recognized for their service as guardians of freedom. Please support the American Legion's efforts to serve the growing number of women veterans. Go to legion.org/honor-veterans to find out how you can help.
Good things happen at the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County. Experience more than 25,000 acres where native plants and animals make their home. Discover the scenic beauty of over 60 forest preserves containing forests, prairies, and wetlands. Explore the wonder of changing seasons along 145 miles of trails. Get outside and discover the good things that happen when you visit DuPage Forest Preserves. The Forest Preserve District of DuPage County, where good things happen.
Welcome back to Career Center. We are excited to have with us Joy McGuire Dooley, therapist, counselor, author, and facilitator of 2 area job clubs. Welcome, Joy. How are you today?
Thanks, Kim. Long time no see.
I know. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to just talk to you today about Job Club and the art of networking. You are, I think, you were very instrumental in bringing Job Club to
the area.
To the area 21 years ago.
You're not supposed to say how many years ago. Okay. Yes, well, actually, I work for Lisle Township, and we have a counseling practice there, and a number of people were coming in presenting with all kinds of problems, but we picked up on the fact that the common thread in the group was that there was a breadwinner out of work. So we thought, oh, let's put them all together as a support group. And we did that and started off with 10 people. And then the next week there were 15 people, and then there were 30, And so we thought, ooh, I think this is important. We called it Job Club. And people did get jobs, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so 20
Yes.
plus years ago when we started Job Club, it's really grown over the years. There are a number of job clubs just in our area alone, as well as the 2 that you facilitate.
Well, interestingly enough, if you step outside of Illinois, so if you live in Illinois and you're between successes, then this is a really good place to be, especially because of the Community Career Center, but there are places, lots of referrals, lots of resources. Okay, if you step outside the borders, not so much. So job clubs did grow, and we're not territorial. Any place that you can go nearby, please go. But at the Community Career Center, we facilitate 2 every week.
Yeah. So tell me, how does Job Club work? What happens in Job Club?
Well, each one has its own niche. The way we do it at the Community Career Center is that if you have a 2-minute deal, it's a networking and support. And I always say to them, there's no negativity here. You can have negativity and joy in the same room, and I got here first. So if you want to have a pity party, go with your best friend and then come to Job Club and try to act as professional as you can. And so each person gets 2 minutes, because that's the average attention span of the average adult. Not that any of those people are average, but we go with it 2 minutes. And then everybody gets a chance to tell the group about themselves. But the key is to be able to laser exactly what you want. And I throw this out to anybody listening. Ask 4 people in your family, what exactly is it that you do? And if they can tell you exactly what you do, I will buy you lunch, or Kim will buy you lunch. I'm so sure that people are not networking with the best people, with their grounds people, their family people, their friends, their neighborhood. So anyway, the whole key is networking. So you stand up and say exactly what you want, and then where do you want to do it? Give us some targets. And people will say, oh, well, I'll work anywhere, or I'm open. What happens when I say I'm open? What do you think about?
Right, yeah.
What do you think when I say open?
Anything, yeah.
Right. And so if you say, well, okay, how about such and such? Oh, no, I don't want that. So it helps us help you in any networking meeting that you go to, or any book group, or any place where you are. If you can tell somebody at least 3 targets, then they'll say, oh, so Molex. Oh, then perhaps maybe, if I don't know anybody at Molex, but maybe Lucent. So that's how we do it. So that's the key. And then.
Yeah, and they also need to know their elevator speech. So you talk about that as well in Job Club. You help them
Absolutely.
perfect that.
Absolutely. And also something that we do is we have them write down their target reemployment date. And they can't be cute and say as soon as possible or yesterday, but write down the date.
Something realistic.
Correct. And then put it on your refrigerator. That's because that's where I go all the time, but also that's where you're used to expiration dates. Put it on focus, put it on your car mirror, start seeing it, and 76% more likely to happen if you write it down. And in our job clubs, it's about 83% of people who land within their target date. So that's fun.
So what do you say to those people who come to Job Club or who don't come to Job Club and they say, why would I go to Job Club when I'm talking with people who are unemployed?
Okay, and they better not say unemployed.
Unemployed.
They better say between successes, because this is the hardest job.
Absolutely.
Finding a job is the hardest job you'll have. What I say is go to as many different groups as possible, but people, you're not asking them to find you a job. You're asking them for contacts. So everybody in that room knows somebody. They have a hairdresser, they have friends, they have parents, they have people, they know people. And it's amazing when you see in the group, when you have somebody who's a CEO and there's somebody perhaps maybe who's entry level and they think, how's this person ever going to help me? This wonderful time, if I might give an example. This gentleman stood up and he said, I don't know if anybody can help me, but I'm looking to get into XYZ company. I'm a CEO. And the person beside him said, well, I nanny for the president of that company. Would that help? And I'm telling you, we won him over in that one meeting. So everybody has something to give. And you feel better when you come to a group and you don't just take, you give. But I do suggest in any job clubs or networking meetings that you do have another step. So you don't just become a job club groupie, which is easy to do because you go there and you think, oh, well, I did 2 hours or whatever job. Okay, but have a next step. Get a card, get a referral, get something, and then go home and do it.
So recently, I know last year or so, you were invited to go to Washington, D.C. to sit on a panel. You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay. It was the Secretary of Labor, her assistant, she didn't call me, her assistant called and asked if I would come down and speak to a panel, especially the Secretary of Labor and the Assistant Secretary and a number of other people, to talk about job clubs, how they work, what their worth is, and they wanted to roll out, there was an initiative to roll out job clubs throughout the country, because as I mentioned before, in Illinois, it's great. We got them all over the place. But you go to Minnesota, you go to Idaho, you go to, not so much. So that was why I was invited down. And then I was invited back to go into the White House. We were supposed to meet with President Obama, but Hillary Clinton upstaged us, so we didn't. But it was great, and we got to see what had happened after the 6 months after we had rolled it out, and things are happening.
Right. Well, great. Thank you so much, Joy. You are truly the catalyst behind Job Club. We all know that. And I thank you for coming on and being part of the show today.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned as our Career Center panel will join me to discuss hiring trends in the job market and happenings at the Community Career Center.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
We love our pets. Our pets are family to us. But disasters can take you by surprise and change your entire life in a second. It's up to you to make sure your family is safe. And as you know, your family includes your pets. The best thing you can do is prepare. I'm John Goodman, and here in New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, we have learned firsthand a lesson that everyone can benefit from. Have a plan in place before something happens. To find out how to better protect your family, including your pets, in the event of an emergency, please visit the ASPCA website, be a responsible pet parent, and be prepared.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Welcome back to Career Center. I'm now joined by Becky Brillon, Program Director at the Community Career Center, and motivational speaker and author Connor Canine. Hi to both of you. Thanks for joining me today.
Good to be here.
Connor, I want to start with you. I want to talk about hiring trends in the job market. Can you point out a couple of things that you're seeing, hearing, that you hear people are talking about?
Yeah, I think one of the things, Kim, that is happening, and it might frighten some of the baby boomers that might be watching this program, is that the impact of social media on job search is absolutely phenomenal. And so many organizations now are putting their message out via social media, via Twitter, via other social media platforms. And one of the platforms that's really important is one called Tweet My Jobs. So I was actually showing Becky last week at one of the filters I had for Chicago marketing jobs and showed her the number of jobs that have come through on Tweet My Jobs for Chicago marketing jobs. And there's literally 15, 20 jobs a day coming through in that area. And I think if job seekers are not clued in on social media, one, they're not going to be able to see everything that's coming through. And the second point is that they're going to come across as being fuddy-duddy with the interviewer who's probably 15, 20 years younger than them and has just come off Facebook or Twitter before the interview.
Right. So while networking is important, online presence, social media, looking for jobs through Twitter, LinkedIn, those things are even more so important.
Absolutely. Well, and they're also another form of networking. It's just a different situation. I mean, online dating seems to be the big thing now. We don't know about that, obviously, but I don't tell my wife about it. But I mean, that's the way the world has changed. And social media and technology is critical that job seekers understand what is happening and convey they understand what's happening when they go into that interview.
So you have Twitter, you have LinkedIn.
Right. They would be the two key ones. I actually do think that Facebook is important as well, particularly for your own personal community. It may not be that important for checking out corporate jobs itself, but if your community on Facebook knows that you're in job search, they're more likely to be able to help you.
Right. So when you talk about Facebook, I mean, a lot of times with Facebook, there's a thing out there where, people don't always have a clean Facebook account. So when people want to kind of argue that point, what would you say to that? I mean, it's important to have a clean Facebook, clean it up, and just as much as you would, you know.
You can try and clean it up. Obviously, it's quite difficult to delete material from online, but you do need to be aware that some employers may check your social media activity. I don't think they'll do it in a lot of cases, but I think if you're looking at senior positions or high-profile positions, the further down the interview road you go with them, I think it's quite likely that they are going to be doing some Google searches on you.
So when we have clients at the center and we're talking about social media, how are they receiving that? How are you hearing that the clients are receiving the fact that they really need to look at their social media and make sure that they're using that?
I think it's another shock to their system. I mean, it's a shock to their system that they are in job search, but then they realize that there's so many things. I mean, job search is a sales job, and so many of them are not used to selling themselves. And if they want to sell the best product they've ever sold in their lives, they've got to use the best vehicles to do that.
Yeah, I agree. We do LinkedIn classes twice a month. We also do LinkedIn one-on-one sessions at the center. The LinkedIn classes, we've done those every month for years because it's still in demand. And I think people are always surprised by how much there is to know about LinkedIn in particular. And technology changes. So when they do an update to the technology, everything you know is still there. It's just in a different place, or they've changed a little bit, made it better. So you're never done taking those technology classes. It's always changing.
Right. So tell me a little bit about LinkedIn, for those who may not have a LinkedIn account, in terms of you go online, you set it up. How much information do you put on your LinkedIn account? Do you put your resume out there? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. It's important to speak to a recruiter as a recruiter would be looking at your profile. So headline, you want to use job titles and information that's important for a recruiter in the headline of your profile. Use a picture. A lot of people will put unemployed looking, sorry Connor, I know that's a dirty word. We'll put we'll put looking for next success or something like that. Recruiters don't type in looking for next success. They type in job titles or a company name, and you're missing out. A lot of other things. Yes, you put your resume on LinkedIn when you're in search. You can attach documents. You can attach videos. You can link it to a website that holds your resume as well. So there's all sorts of cool ways to use LinkedIn.
Yeah, and what about that picture that you have on your LinkedIn
Got to have a
account?
picture. It's got to be a professional picture.
Not the selfie.
Nah.
No.
Well, mine's a selfie.
Well,
People don't
yeah,
usually
that's
know
true.
mine's a selfie.
That's true.
But you got to do a little bit extra work besides just cropping out somebody's arm around you, or my favorites are when somebody takes their photo from their wedding, and boy, that guy is awfully dressed up in his tuxedo for his LinkedIn page.
Right.
And there's half of a bride's shoulder cropped out, you know.
Right.
So
He's got long hair down
Yeah.
here and a Tony Orlando mustache.
yeah. So there's things to do. And the center offers professional headshots on a monthly basis. We have somebody come in who is a professional photographer. It makes it affordable for somebody to update that picture so they don't have to do a selfie.
So, speaking about the center, we have a lot of workshops that we have going on there every single month. You're in charge of bringing those workshops to our community there. Can you share a little bit about some upcoming workshops we have this month?
Absolutely. The best place to find out all the information about the center and what we have, in case you miss it here, our website is www.communitycareercenter.org. Our calendar for August is up there. We have the typical Monday accountability group, 9 to 10:30. We have Job Club with Joy McGuire Dooley Wednesdays. This month, we're also going to include federal job application workshop. That's mid-month. We also have Kent Palmer from the Naperville Library coming over. He does an awesome workshop about how to do research and use the databases at the Naperville Library. Naperville Library is always ranked one of the best libraries in the United States. And for a job seeker, it's just a huge bonus. We also have Azimuth coming in. We try to get recruiters from companies to come over and talk to our job seekers. Each month it's called Ask the Recruiter. So we can always use some more employers to come over and talk to our job seekers. That's going to come up the 21st. We're also going to be at the Naperville Library, 95th Street Library on the 21st. We're doing our Mom Inc., Returning to the Workforce workshop for moms returning to work, the workforce. They never stopped working.
Right.
But that helps moms or parents in general come back. What resume? How do I deal with the gaps on a resume? How can I talk about my volunteer experience as real-world soft skills, transferable experience?
Right. And you have something on the 1st too, I believe, that Connor's going to be doing.
Connor's coming in on the 1st.
Yeah, I'm representing Chicago at the World Championship of Public Speaking in a few months' time in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And one of the rehearsals I'm going to do is I'll actually do it at the Community Career Centre on August the 1st. And we did that a couple of years back as well. And it's a really good, fun, energizing piece of entertainment and something different for the people who are in job search.
Awesome. So Connor Canine on August 1st, Community Career Center the rest of the month of August. We'll have lots of workshops and programs that you can participate in. I want to thank Vicki Austin, Joy McGuire Dooley, Becky Brillon, Connor Canine, and you, our audience, for being a part of this month's edition of Career Center. If you have questions or suggestions for future shows, email me at careercenter@communitycareercenter.org. Thanks for watching.